Hello, my crafty friends. Lisa here. I have a new pocket idea to share with you today. Coin envelopes. I was working with some of these and was really uninspired by them. For one, I don't enjoy the color personally. I'm not a fan of yellow. I just don't work with it a lot, don't care for it. So I was having a really hard time with this today, as well as the seam down the front of the coin envelope. I don't really care for that either. So I decided to make my own, and I tried to come up with a way to make them where I didn't have a center seam. So I did that. There's no center seam on these, which is just super fabulous. So you don't have to try to cover it up. You don't have to try to work around it. Super simple to do. I have a very minimalistic style, so I didn't decorate these up a lot, but you certainly could, as well as the backs. You could use this as a floating pocket to put bits of ephemera in. You could clip it to a page. You could stick it in a pocket and fill it up with all kinds of stuff. Because I made gussets on this side, I thought, why not? Here's an opportunity. And I didn't decorate the back because my intent was to just glue them down to a page, or maybe glue them in an L so I could get some things behind them. Completely your call and what you want to do. So let me show you how quick and simple these are. Really easy to do. You need to start with a piece of paper that's 8.5 by 6.25. 8.5 by 6.25. It could be a thin piece of scrapbook paper. You don't want cardstock weight. I'm going to be using, of course, 20-pound paper, 24-pound hand-dyed paper. This would be really cute if you've dyed paper that has lace patterns on it or polka dots or, any of that. So 8.5 by 6.25. Now, if you're using the hand-dyed paper, you need to double check because this may not be 8.5, and my paper is not. It's usually somewhere between 8 1/8 and 8.25. So I need to just turn it this way and cut my 8.5 and then my 6.25. I hope that makes sense. So here's my 8.5. Sorry, I cut 8.5 and then I turned it and cut it to 6.25. So you end up with 2 of these pieces left. And I've got an idea for these, and I'll show you that at the end. So 8.5 by 6.25. We're going to score it, of course. And we're going to start at 3 inches. I'm going to score it 3 inches with the paper on the 8.5-inch side, on the long side, tied up against the top rail of your scoreboard. We're going to go with 3, 3.5, and 4, down here to 7, 7.5, and 8. I'm going to flip this bottom to top and score it again. Double scoring the paper really helps to fold thinner weight papers. Cardstock folds fairly easily when you score it, but this not so much. So if you take the time to double score it, you'll get a much nicer fold. We're going to give it just a little bit of a turn and score this at 5 and 1/2 inch. Got a 1/2 inch over here on this side. Again, I'm going to flip that bottom to top and score it at 1/2 inch and 5. And that's all you need. So here I have a piece that I've drawn all of my pencil lines on so that you can actually see what's happening. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so we've got some material that we're going to remove on here, and I've got a splotch right here. But here's that pencil line. So we're going to take out this corner completely. All of those scored lines, those are going to be gone. We're going to take out these score lines all the way over. So all of this is going to be gone. Here's my pencil line down here at the bottom. So we're going to take out the score lines down here. So those 3 little squares are gone. And then everything from this score line all the way over, all of that material is going to be gone. So super easy way to do this is grab your scissors. We're going to cut right here. We're just going to snip it up to that 1/2 inch score line we made. And right here. Let's turn this around. And the innermost score line here, we're going to cut. And we're going to cut here. I'm going to grab my Tim Holtz ruler and a blade. And I'm just going to remove those sections. So this one right here, right up to where we snipped it, and this one right here. Super simple. We're going to turn that around. Now we're working on that 1/2 inch section that we scored. Those 3 little squares down there at the bottom, we're going to take those out. And it would help if I put my glasses on so I can see this. And right here, and right here. So what you're left with is this tab up here at the top, which is the top of your envelope, and this little tab down here at the bottom. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. We don't need to be up that close. I'm going to hang on to this piece for just a second. The rest of those I just threw away in the trash. I'm not saving them. So I'm going to fold in on that inner score line, and I'm going to give that a quick burnish. And here's where I'm going to round the corner. With this folded in, I can now get to that with my corner chomper. And I'm going to use the 1/4 inch down here on the bottom. And I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to get the top with the 1/2 inch. You could certainly use a nice decorative punch on these corners. That would be really cute. I'm going to do the same thing to this side. I'm going to fold that in and just give that a quick burnish. And it looks like I didn't snip that just right on that score line. There we go. And I'm going to give it a 1/4 inch here at the bottom. I'm going to turn my tool over and give it a 1/2 inch here at the top. So since I already have this side folded in, I'm just going to accordion fold the rest of those score lines. And then this one goes in. I'm going to pull this back out. I'm going to leave it folded. And then I'm going to just barely kind of grade that a little bit, or notch the seam, or tab it, whatever lingo you want to use. This one down here at the bottom, I don't want to cut that at an angle, but I do want to make sure that I've got it fitting into that score line so that this will fold over it nicely. Let's go ahead and accordion fold the other side. Remember to use your bone folder. It makes a much nicer envelope at the end if you've used your bone folder to burnish. So I'm going to pull that back open. I'm going to fold this to the back, because what I really want is just that little mountain fold, and I want to do the same thing I did on the other side. I'm just removing a little bit of excess material so that it will all fold up nicely. Super simple. So there we have it. And then this goes like that. This goes like that. And then that goes like that. And there is your envelope. So make sure that you dry fit this before you stick anything shut, just to make sure that it all fits together nicely and well. So I want a thumb notch right here. And when you're punching thin pieces of paper, if you put a scrap piece behind whatever it is you're punching, or on top, just doesn't really matter. And then when you think your punch is not punching because it's dull, sometimes it's just the paper is really thin and it doesn't want to go through it. So if you double it up, it punches no problem. Super simple. And then I'm going to throw that scrap away now that I've punched a 1/2 mean out of it. At this point right here, if you wanted to decorate this flat, do some stitching on it, whatever you want it to do, now would be the time to do it before you actually close it up. If you're going to do the eyelet and string closure, you need to do it here before you seal it shut, or you can't get to this one right here. And what I did was I had it all together, and then I just kind of decided where I wanted them to go. Of course, I actually did measure center and center. I did measure, but for the sake of video, we're just going to eyeball it here, and we're going to go right about here and right about here. So your crocodile will not reach this. So you might have to get out your old-fashioned eyelet setting toolkit if you have one of these, or get out your Big Bite. The Big Bite will go all the way in to get that, to punch the hole and to set your eyelet. So one or two of those tools, like I said, your Crocodile isn't going to make that. So that is that, and all you do from here is just seal this shut. Well, this is just demo, so let's just go ahead and do that. Your favorite adhesive, whatever that is, if you're using wet glue, score tape, whatever it is you're using. So we're just going to seal that shut right there. And then we're going to come down here at the bottom. And I really want the glue towards the outer edge of this little flap down here so it doesn't seep into the inside of our envelope. So you want to make sure that's flat and then just stick it down. So how simple was that? So easy. And now you don't have a seam running down the center of this envelope. You've got a nice generous pocket with a cute little flap on the top. I thought this was just super, super fun. So the pieces that I cut off, I have this really cute little stamp note. And what I've been doing is taking those pieces and doing a bunch of stamping on them, and then getting out my dies, my Spellbinders labels dies. I've got one that's pretty close to this shape. So stamping and then die cutting and then a little bit of distressing. Isn't that just cute? And that's a really great way to use these up. The other thing you could do is, if you're going to make a bunch of these, is just take these and you could fold them, staple them, and then just stick them in the pocket because they're going to fit right in. Right? So that's another way you could use those up. I like this. I think that's really cute. So there you have it. There is my little pocket for today. I hope you like it. I hope you give it a try. I hope that you'll put some of these in your next project because I just love to see what you guys are doing. And so until next time, be well, and I hope to talk to you very, very soon.